On Masters of Spin this morning, how a seemingly great idea can spectacularly backfire. Burger King in the UK thought they were being pretty clever by turning a sexist saying into an advertisement for International Women's Day.
When seen as a whole, the campaign to get more women into senior chef positions is eye-catching. But when someone in marketing thought to put it on Twitter, some of the context was lost and there was quite a backlash until a clarifying tweet came out. Our Masters of Spin this morning are advertising and marketing experts, gurus, Dee Madigan and Matthew Bywater. Welcome to you both. Dee, I still liked it.
I thought it was an absolutely sensationally good campaign, but the tweet itself had no context. And it does make you realise when you're doing a campaign and you're using different channels, you have to really think about it. Twitter, they could have attached the accompanying ad and then it would have been good. But the idea itself behind it, I think, is absolutely first rate. How
frustrating do you think, Matthew? Because, you know, they've created a scholarship, they're doing all the right things, as Dee has pointed out, but I guess the meaning was lost when it hit Twitter. Is it forgivable?
Forgivable, yes. I mean, you see what's happened. They've had actually the headline in one tweet and then the scholarship in a second. That's where they went wrong, because people will see the first tweet, triggered, react and share, and that's what's gone viral. But these mistakes happen sometimes, and they've done the right thing. They've apologised. They come out and said, that's not what we meant to say, this is what we're trying to do. So they've got some free press out of it. I don't think it's going to help the brand too bad at all, actually.
And in fact, they're doing absolutely terrific things for women. You know,
so many brands do all the talk and don't sort of back it up.
They're actually doing it.
Absolutely. So I think they'll be fine.
Good stuff. Now, the AFL has just released its 2021 season promo. It's set to the In Excess song Kick. It's so good. Have a look.
At the very last gasp.
Is she going to snap it? And it's bucketing down here at the G.
It comes down to one kick. This for the game then. Kick is on the way.
It's a big kick. It's a tremendous kick. He strikes it beautifully. It's on its way. It's there.
It makes me want to play. Is that the intention here, Matt? Is it to get people to play or get people to watch?
Yes, to both. And I love this ad. This is probably the ad of the year so far, which I don't say early. It's got everything. It's got the commentary about winning on the siren. It crosses all demographics. So there's something here for everyone. It's got, In Excess. You can't go wrong. Kick and In Excess. So it's got bits of everything for everyone, and it's got that momentum, that feel. Just wants to get you excited.
And the grassroots, and the best way to look after the future of a game is to get people excited at the grassroots level.
Yes, and it's eclectic. It's just so
It does both of those things, doesn't it? It gives you the goosebumps, and every kid's sort of dream to kick the goal after the siren. They've really tapped into the emotion of the sport.
If you've got a child and you see this, and then you see the NRL players who are always in the news, you go, which one do I choose for my child?
That's true. Yeah, really interesting. I want to ask you really quickly, this is some very clever advertising. Incredible pictures in an ad for a bowling alley in America. Proof that you don't have to spend a fortune to make a great ad. Have a look at this. They've used a drone, a 90-second ad. Do you like this, Dee?
I think geeks all around the world like it, but it's long.
Just
and
geeks?
Yeah, I think so, to be honest.
I think it's good for a local business. I think it's spot on for a local business. Shows the business, this is what we do, and then...
Apparently the drone operator did it for free too, so not bad, is it? We're talking about it here in Australia.
Supporting a local business,
Possibly never going to that bowling alley in America, but anyway, still, good ad. Look, we also want to ask you about the Palace, obviously, in the wake of Oprah's interview with Meghan and Harry. What should the Palace do now as our Masters of Spin?
If I was the Palace, I wouldn't be panicking too much. You see all the, this is the end of the Palace. It's not. You know, Prince Andrew, you know, on holidays with a pedophile should have been the end and wasn't. If I was them, I would just be pushing Wills and Kate out as much as possible and, you know...
Does that not heighten the rift, though?
I don't think so. I mean, we had it with Fergie. Diana died in a car crash. You know, I don't think this is worse than what already has happened. Nothing destroys the royal family. And as an avid Republican, I find that a terrible travesty. But
Matthew,
nonetheless.
What do you think in a PR? Like, would you, as Dee suggests, sort of just let it fall away a bit, or would you tackle these issues and address them head on? What would be your advice?
I think you have to address them. And first of all, Will and Kate, get them out there as quick and as often as possible, because you don't want to... You create this void, and in the void, you let everyone else have a voice. So you've got to get out there and front.
Yeah,
Queen, I think the Queen had a very good message when she said... I find it concerning about the racism. So she didn't say we are racist. She didn't admit that. But she did say I find it concerning. Like, we need to get to this.
Then William said we're not a racist racist family. It's like you're the descendant of the woman that started the slave trade. You know, your grandfather has got a history of it. I wouldn't have gone there because then people bring up examples.
It was interesting that he did go there because when William was asked that question, he was actually walking with Kate. He could have very easily avoided that question because that journalist completely broke with protocol, isn't meant to do it. So it would be perfectly acceptable for him to not say anything because he's got a lot to say.
I'm not racist, but you cannot say we're not a racist family when everyone can... I mean, Harry wore a Nazi uniform at a costume party, so, you know...
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not going to defend wearing a Nazi uniform. I do have some German blood, but I'm not going to defend that. But as a young guy, you make mistakes. We've got to live in a world with some redemption. This war on human flaws is becoming dangerous.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it opened up things.
But the royal family with the racism thing, that was a long time ago. I don't know... OK, Prince Philip aside, I don't know if there's any racism in the current royal family. And I'm not a royalist. I really don't care.
And we probably won't know unless they make the decision to sit down and say we will address these two major tenets head-on, whether we're helping our employees enough when it comes to mental health concerns and whether or not there are systemic racism issues within the monarchy. And that's why I was interested on your view as to whether they actually address that or not. We'll wait and see, I guess. Great to have our Masters of Spin on this morning. Thank you, guys.
Very much. Ahead on Weekend